Do you struggle in the opening? Today, I'm going to show you how to build your own personal opening trainer. This is going to help build your repertoire, fix mistakes, and you'll even be able to practice on a real board. And at the end, I'll even show you how to train tactics in your opening. All right, let's get into it. First, head over to Lichess and make sure you're logged in. Then go to Learn and click on Study. Then you'll see a green and white plus button. Click that to create a study. And then for your study, you can name it whatever. Just make sure the visibility is unlisted, and that way you won't be leaking any of your opening prep. We are also going to keep on the computer analysis and the opening explorer. Once you're ready, click start. Now we are going to create our first opening trainer, and I recommend having one trainer for white and one for black. And in this example, we're going to be doing black. So we'll change the orientation to black and create the chapter. And this will be an opening trainer against 1 E4. Now, this first example is aimed at beginners, but we will get more advanced in a moment. So we're going to start with E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, and bishop to B5. Then we're going to follow with A6 and bishop A4. Now, one thing I did forget to do was to make this an interactive study. So we can click the little cog icon next to our chapter, and then we can change the analysis mode to interactive lesson. Now we have an interactive lesson where we can actually play through the moves. So the first move was E4, E5, and then knight F3. Now the next move is knight C6. However, if I play the wrong move, it will tell me to retry. And it will keep doing that until I make the right move. Now, if I ever struggle, I can always view the solution as well to find the move that I was meant to play. So they play bishop B5 and I play A6. And that's our first chapter in our opening trainer done. Now, this might feel a little bit basic, but it's extremely powerful because white is not always going to play the same lines. They could play knight F3, which could lead to the Roy Lopez Italian or Scotch game. They could go for the Vienna game. There's a lot of different moves that they can do. So instead of memorizing just one line, you can actually create multiple chapters for different openings. This way, you're preparing for different ways the game can go. Here's an important tip. Let's say we played a few moves that feel really natural to us. At some point, we can actually turn on the engine and check the evaluation bar to see how we're doing. Now, the evaluation bar here is showing that something has gone incredibly wrong. And it's important not just to trust the engine, but to look at it and find out why it's gone wrong. And here you can see that once the knight is captured, the bishop will be attacking an undefended piece while the queen is being attacked by the knight. And that's not going to be very good for you. So we need to fix that. So let's go back through our line and see where the engine went down. And here we can see this move was no good. And instead, try to find a move which you feel is a little bit better. So if we turn off the engine and we find that maybe bishop B6 could be a little bit better, let's turn it back on. And it's a little bit better. Actually, it's a lot better. Another move could have also been queen to F6. So we find these moves and then we can right click and we can make it our main variation. We can keep or delete the rest. It's up to you. And now when we go through our move trainer, we can see that we've got a much better move that we'll be playing with in our games. Now remember, the goal here is never to memorize these moves, but understand them. If you don't understand a move, what you need to do is take your time and figure out why the move either works or does not work. Now, let's take it a step further, because this is where opening trainers will really become valuable. We are going to create a new opening trainer for the Roy Lopez. So we'll go back and we'll create a new opening trainer and we'll call it Roy Lopez Opening Trainer. and white to play. Don't forget to make it an interactive lesson. And let's turn the engine off again. And we're going to start with e4, e5, knight f3, and bishop to b5, the Roy Lopez. Now, there are plenty of replies here that black could do. And you're not going to be able to learn every single variation instantly, but you are going to use this opening trainer to build on that knowledge as time goes by. And as you improve, start expanding on that opening repertoire and adding in variations over time. Now, obviously, every time you play a game with your opening, go ahead and review it as you would normally, and then you can bring it over to your study and check to see if you've got that line in your opening trainer. Try to find areas where you may have made mistakes and areas where you may have missed opportunities. And of course, if your opponent played something new that you're not quite comfortable with, go ahead and add that in to your opening trainer. So now that we've built our opening trainer, let's take it off the computer and onto the board. I'm using the Chessnut move, and with Chess Connect, I can practice these openings on a real board. If you don't already have one, it's currently on sale until April 20. Use code WIGGY for 17% off, link in the description below. And you can also use the Chessnut app with Chessnut Vision, but I personally prefer using my own laptop so I can make notes as I go. Now, if you want to add some notes, you can always add optional hints for the player to help guide yourself along the way so that you can still figure out the move without getting the full answer. Now, practicing on a real board is going to be a completely different experience. As you improve, you'll find that training openings, puzzles, and analyzing on a physical board feels far more natural than just using a screen. Now, another great feature that you're going to want to use with this is being able to add in master games, which you can also play over the board through the interactive study, and I've done a video on that. And finally, one of the most important parts about studying openings is you can study openings all day, but if you miss tactics, it's not going to matter. On Lichess, you can actually filter tactics by opening, and you can actually filter them by color as well. So you can go and practice all of your openings and the tactics from real games. Of course, you can play them on screen, but I prefer to play mine over the board. It's going to allow me to focus on the position, find the move, and let the tactic play out. So there you have it. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button. Let me know your favorite openings in the comments, and I might feature it in a future video. And I'll see you in the next one.